Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Crusader Corner into 2022, and now under a full slate of season previews here in the spring. I'm the Director of Broadcasting, Jeffrey Childs. We're joined today by our special guest, softball coach Tony Mele. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Jeff, glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, after last year, Belmont Abbey set a school record, 20 wins for the Abbey last year. I know the season didn't end like you wanted it, but there was a lot of progress.
There was a lot of progress, and the season also didn't start the way we wanted it to start. We started digging a little bit of a deficit into our record, and we had to change a few things, namely our hitting. I felt like at the time we were popping up a lot, and so we had to literally focus on what we call good misses, or missing by hitting the top half of the ball where we can advance runners. So we spent a lot of work on that, and then we finally got our hitting back humming together, which is good. And I'd say, honestly, the team bought into the little things, just taking care of the little things, whether it's your first backup assignment or your second backup assignment on the field. We just all started rotating better and really gelling as a team. I think what makes it most special is we got our 13 wins right through the middle of conference. Not that wins at the beginning of the year like we're experiencing now aren't just as meaningful, but to really go right through conference with 13 wins was fantastic. And yes, we were in a position to claim first place the last weekend, but like I told the team, we were in for a chance to claim first place earlier in the year. There's some wins that got away. We could have also done it. But in the end, a fantastic year. We're optimistic about this year and looking forward to building on what we had.
The Crusaders now retooling along the infield. Second, third, and short is gone. Allison Smith has graduated. Melissa Niehaus led the team last year in RBIs, and she was so important to this team. Coach, I know you want to look at the positives when any players graduate, but it's tough to lose the inner part of the infield there for you, but you've got a great new class to fill those spots.
That's very true. So looking at what we had last year, we lost our third baseman, Morgan Smith, who honestly was a wall over there and was very consistent throwing over to first and a fantastic hitter for us. We had Niehaus at short, which, leadership, fielding, hitting, all those things combined, tough act to follow, tough shoes to step in. Katie Allison at second base, you've heard me say before, has one of the quickest transitions out of her glove to first, and clearly has shown she can track down a ball into mid-right field if she needs to. We also lost AB off the mound, our senior pitcher. So, when you think about how the field's laid out, to lose everything up the middle, the pitcher, second, short, and then third, it's a lot of opportunity for the ones that are coming in for sure. But they've also got to step into some very big shoes. And we believe we have that. We've been recruiting hard, increasing our speed and hitting ability and all that, but they've still got to gel and trust each other, and we're working through that now. And so far, so good.
You had one of the best offenses in the league last year by team average, 24 home runs that you hit last year. But there were times in big moments, I know you were not happy. You wanted to get the strikeouts down. I know that's a focus for you going into this year. What has it been like in practice, and now that the Crusaders are 6-0 to start the year?
Yeah, I think it has to do with a lot of things. We try to structure our practices. I know they've probably heard me say an unbelievable amount of time to focus on good misses. And what I mean is if we miss the center of the ball, which is ultimately where we're trying to hit, if we pop up, a lot of things happen on a pop-up. We don't really get a chance to advance runners as much as we would like to. Even in college, a mid outfield hit doesn't mean you're guaranteed to score. But sometimes if we have that miss on the other side of the ball, ground balls get through, a fielder has to field it, pick it up, throw it. It's got to be caught on the other end, and we can also advance runners, or what we call move-ups. So they've been very good at adjusting. I'd also say, minus a couple hitters this year, we're not really necessarily what I call an up-and-out type of team, meaning people who are listening to the broadcast would know we're not a launch angle type team. We're a line drive hitting team. And we were last year too, and we have a couple that are good at that. Also, the opposite of that, which is a couple obvious names. But in the end, it's about moving runners, right? Moving runners across the plate more than the other team. That's how we win. So.
That sounds like a good formula to me. As Coach Tony Mele is joining us here today on the Crusader Corner. But what you lose in the infield, you make up for in a big way in the outfield. Haley Gass in left field. Sydney Pond, who was just a freshman last year, she hit the cover off of the ball at some parts of last year. Cameron Cooper has been hitting the ball really, really well here to start the year. You have maybe as good of an outfield offensively as you do defensively. There were a lot of web gems last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So between Haley Gass and Bailey Presley and Sydney Pond and Cam Cooper, their OBPs, on-base percentages, and their just raw batting averages have been fantastic. They put a lot of pressure on defenses. They're really good at moving runners as well, and having two of those four being slappers definitely gets people moving. And we've had a lot of scoring opportunities from them. I think another thing that is we've just retooled. We're just fast, just in general. We're just recruiting more speed nowadays. We have a lot of kids that are sub 3 second to first base. Our outfield is all sub 2.8. So that translates to all those balls that go in those triangles between center, left, and short, and all across the outfield. We just can close more gaps. Obviously, still have to get it in our glove, but they're pretty good at that. So that definitely takes some of the pressure off our pitchers as well, to know that they can run down some of those mishits and other things as well. So they're great on crushing dreams out there, we tell them. That's their goal.
Crushing dreams. I think I'm going to use that on the broadcast. I really love that. We have to talk about the circle last year. Annabeth Watkins, such a big part for you guys, 110 innings pitched. She ended up with 11 wins for the Crusaders last year. So she's gone, but you bring back a lot of talent this year. And why don't you tell the viewers about the circle this year, what you're expecting, and maybe some of the new faces?
Yeah, for sure. So AB is, a tough loss. We're so thankful she stayed for her 5th year, and she was a strong contributor. We, of course, have Alana coming back, who pitched an awful lot of innings last year, and we're hoping she grows into the leadership role that AB was in by the time she left. We have Abby Boranja, who had a knee injury last year, but the innings that she did pitch for us last year, so she's a returning sophomore, were fantastic. So we have high hopes for her this year. We also have Sydney Fields and Jordana, both returning as well. And then we have 2 freshmen, Sadie Lee and Abby Craver coming back, or I should say coming in. They're freshmen, sorry. And they're doing fantastic through the fall as well, and they're already getting innings 6 games in and showing their stuff. So, but it still gets back to what you said. We still had a lot of people in key positions go out. But that means our freshmen and sophomores have to come in with great confidence and own it if we want to go.
Few teams have the luxury of having this good of a hitter that you have in Peyton Whitley at first base. She hit .361, drove in 30 runs last year. I talked to you earlier a couple of weeks ago about what can she do to improve. I think the question for her is less what can she do to improve, but how can she hit the ball even further this year?
Fortunately, the fences are still close to 200, 210, maybe 220 at some. So Peyton Whitley, I've got to see grow since she was a freshman, and her freshman year she did fantastic also. And then it got a little tougher on her at certain bouts because they learn to pitch around her as best they can. They can't make a lot of mistakes, and so this year it's all about pitch selection for her. There's nothing where she really needs to do for strength. I mean, I've literally seen her hit a ball over our batting cages many times. So it's not a strength issue. It's not a swing issue. For her, it's can we get ahead in the count as they're trying to work the fringes? And if we do, then we just have to sit back and wait for ours. So for her, we're working mostly on pitch selection, patience, and all that type of stuff. I think she's going to have a fantastic year. She's got 2 on the other side of the fence already to start the year. So
24 team homers last year. 14 triples. You guys led Conference Carolinas in triples. Not wanting to put those expectations on you again, but it seems like the lineup 1 through 8, 1 through 9 are players that can drive the ball every time they come to bat. You're not going to see a lot of fly ball outs from this team, or at least you hope you're not going to see a lot of fly ball outs, but a lineup that can drive the ball, whether it's over the fence or it's going for extra bases. I know we talked about strikeouts and you wanted to cut down there. Is there anything you've been emphasizing in practice on both team speed and hitting the ball better to get more extra base hits this year?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that go into that formula. So, line drive hitting is great when it hits the gaps, of course. Part of
what we just talked about is we retooled for speed. So getting triples in college is hard,
Yes.
right? It's hard because arms are big and people are fast. But we've kind of combated that with getting a whole lot of speed in our lineup also. So, we're kind of structured really to push the limit on as much base running as we possibly can. The idea is we want to put a lot of what we call just base pressure on people. So we tell them if you ground out and you know you're out when you leave the box, we still want you to go through 60 feet as fast as you possibly can, because we want it to register in the defense's mind that I've got to be quick with this. I can't bobble it. Anything to put mental pressure on the defense. We want them to feel that we're going to spin the bases if they make a mistake. And that does help get mistakes out, and people then short arm things and throw things, and that's where all heck breaks loose in our favor, which is what we're after. But you got to remember also, Jeff, like you have to, just because a ball is getting tagged in right field does not mean that the opposing right fielder throws it on a perfect one hop to third base either. So we're going to keep pushing that until people prove they can put it where it needs to go.
I love that answer. Love to see the Crusaders put more base pressure on their opponents this year. And now, Tony, we move into the freshman class. Going to get out to broadcast a game soon. It's been a busy February here for us at Belmont Abbey, but I've heard a lot about Haley Mele and Emma Fry, part of this sensational freshman class.
Yeah, they're doing fantastic in the middle right now. So those are two key counterparts working together in the middle. They've already in the first 6 games been able to turn a couple things that we haven't been able to turn in the past. They have really good communication together, and right now they're both swinging the bat really well too. So again, now I had Niehaus and Allison there who were also highly mobile, great communicators as well. But those two for now seem to be stepping into the role, and they have great coverage going backwards, both of them too. So I'm really excited to see what that does for us. But I'm also excited to see every position. Like we've got a lot of new people out there contributing already in 6 games.
Well, all right. We want to thank Tony Mele, head coach of the Crusaders, for joining us this week on the Crusader Corner. If you want to catch the Crusaders in action, come out to Crusader Field this Saturday at noon for a doubleheader. They're taking on Southern New Hampshire University. Well, for Coach Mele joining us today, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
All right, I'm the voice of the Crusaders. We'll see you next time on the Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.